Now, doctors treating COVID-19 patients in Ghana say they are worried about the severity of recent cases on their hands. The number of severe coronavirus cases are on a sharp rise, many in critical condition and needing assistance before they can breathe. Today, the JoyNews Health Desk takes you to the Ghana East Hospital, where COVID-19 patients there are battling for their lives. Matilda Gavi has more.
Inside the high dependency unit of the Ghana East Hospital, very critically ill COVID-19 patients are being attended to. 4 patients are battling for a second chance to live. Every beep from these ventilators speaks volume. Some sick person living on, or a life gradually slipping out of time.
A lot of cases here, we do lose some of them. So it's better to be in the comfort of your home than be in an ICU.
Linda, not her real name, is no longer in the ICU. She's recovering from COVID-19 under very strict supervision. Before she tested positive, she was very mindful of adhering to the safety protocols until she let her guard down at a family gathering.
I used to call myself the COVID police until the police caught me. It took care for granted one day.
One day? Where did you go?
No. Just family.
Oh.
Family, yes.
And it happened to you?
Yes, it did.
Grandma Ife stayed away from all public places, stayed home with the family, but got infected.
My grandchildren were for a party. Oh. And after the party, they swam. So when they came to me, I think 2 days later, the big granddaughter was having some symptoms. By then, I didn't know the symptom, but hers was like a running nose. Then later on, I saw that she was getting temperature. So we rushed her to the pharmacy if it's malaria. Then the pharmacist told us that it's not, but he just gave us some first aid. But when we came on the following day, I said, no, let's go to Nogochi. So the little one was coming closer to me. So I think after 4 days, I also started feeling a bit throat itching. But I didn't take it serious. I just went to do my concoction and I drank and it was over. Then 3 days later, that this thing will hit me.
Wow.
I kept vomiting. My son said, no. Mommy, you have got COVID. Let's go to Ghana District Hospital.
So what happened to your grandchildren? Where are they?
They went to Nogochi and they were all tested positive. So they have their own hospital they go to.
A total of 62 COVID-19 patients are receiving care here, but the severity of their condition is a source of concern to health workers. Dr. Ebenezer Ojo-Mensah is the medical superintendent at the Ghana East Hospital.
We think more people are ill now than last year, and the severity of the illness has increased compared to what we were seeing last year. And this can't be due to chance. So if a new variant
what exactly is accounting for what we are seeing now?
Well, this coincides with the worldwide pattern of increased severity of COVID-19 across the world. If you look at most countries, UK, Germany, etc., they are more or less closing up now because they have more ill patients on admission. If you listen to international news, and that's exactly what we are experiencing now. And it has been acknowledged that the new variant is in country, including the South African variant as well. And these are known to cause more severe disease. So since we've had quite a few of our compatriots coming over the holidays, we believe that one way or the other, the new variant has found itself into the country and could be contributing to the severity of the disease we are currently seeing. That does not mean the old variant is not there. It's still there. It's still causing illness and disease. But when you compare the severity now to what we had earlier, we believe something has changed.
And staying with COVID-19, construction on the nearly 50-bed capacity infectious disease treatment center at the Kolebu Teaching Hospital stalls after workers abandoned the site. JoyNews' visit to the premises revealed key electrical work is yet to conclude as the crew last visited the workplace on the 7th of January. A site foreman told our journalists the plastering and other finishing work has been held up for this reason. The facility was scheduled to be completed 30 days after work commenced nearly 10 months ago. This has left the 8-bed treatment facility at the nation's premier referral center overburdened as Ghana's COVID-19 case count rises. Host of Prime Morning, Daniel Dazi, was at the construction site and reports.
Soon after Ghana recorded its first few cases of COVID-19, it was announced that a 50-bed infectious diseases facility was being constructed here at the Korle Bu Teaching Hospital. Close to a year after construction began, this facility is yet to be completed. This is contrary to announcements by authorities then that it would take 30 days for this facility to be finished, so it would help in the fight against COVID-19 in the country. As the number of positive cases in Ghana begin to hit 200 per day, the attention of the public has been drawn back to this facility, which is far from complete. So where I'm standing currently is the doorway for the main entrance to the facility. Some of the plastering has been done. You can see there's space there for some of the electronic fittings in there. But you walk inside and you realize that a lot of the plastering has not been done. Now, we've been speaking to some of the workers who are here. They tell us that the crew of workers who were supposed to wire the facility came to work on the 24th, went on break, came back on the 1st of January, went on break, came back on the 7th of January, and that's the last time they reported. It's expected that they will come back to work sometime this week, and after that, after they are done with the wiring, then the plastering for the inside can be completed. There's also the roofing, which has not been completed in the inside. As you can see, the ceilings have not been fitted in. Again, we are being told that the workers who are in charge of this part of the work will do their work by this week so that the construction can continue. The empty spaces also for the doors indicate that there's still some work to be done there. We are being told that the doors are being constructed off-site and they are waiting for those contractors to also bring in the doors so that they can fit them in. So that was the main entrance, the main arrival hall or the reception. These look like bathrooms to an untrained eye. You see the plumbing fittings in there. There are a number as well here, a number of cubicles in here. You can see this space looks like, a space for sinks. And in there, looks like space for WCs in there, about 4 of them. So, all in all, this is a facility that when operational should be able to really serve the general public. You can see there, unfortunately, some of these iron rods are rusting. It's been a while since they were planted there, as you can see. So we are looking through to really be able to report to you the extent of work that has been done here at the infectious diseases facility, which is part of the Korle Bu Teaching Hospital complex. This is a 50-bed facility which has been on the books for close to a year at least when the construction officially began. When we visited here in March, the field was being cleared for the construction itself to begin, and it was expected that it should be finished in some 30 days or in the shortest possible time. Remember, more than 50,000 positive cases of COVID-19 have been recorded in the country since then, and this is a key weapon in the arsenal of government in the fight against this disease. We are speaking to some of the supervisors for the gang of workers here. They are confident that within a month all of this work can be done, but then again they are unsure that the requisite funds will be released in time and also that the workers will return to site so that this facility can quickly come be operational and help in the fight against COVID. As you can see, it's much larger than the current facility, which is seen to COVID-19 patients, which is full. It's an 8-bed facility directly opposite this one. And currently, doctors there tell us that it is completely full and they are currently treating the average of about 20 patients every single day. Most worrying about it is that 2/3 of the number of patients they treat there, according to our sources, are medical personnel, that is doctors and nurses, who are working on the front line in the fight against COVID-19 in the country. Hospital authorities did not speak to us, but we have sources who are telling us that as soon as the doors are done and the wiring is done, this is work that can be completed in the shortest possible time. The question remains about the funding that must be released from the Ministry of Health, which would, of course, be the agency acting on behalf of government to ensure that this work is done in the shortest possible time. They were unable to tell us why the work has delayed from March 2020 till now, where so many lives could have been saved, so many persons could have been treated if this facility was complete. For Joy News, this is Daniel Daze at the Kolebu Teaching Hospital.
Stay with COVID-19 as schools reopen amidst multiplying cases. Many children across the East Mamprusi municipality of the Northeast region have to choose between getting an education and being safe. Without school infrastructure in their communities, the children are forced to walk several miles to attend schools in nearby communities without face masks or any personal protective item to fight COVID-19.
On the third day of school reopening, Joy News observed a very low observance of COVID-19 safety protocols in most public schools in the municipality. These children were seen trekking from Yaruyili about 3 kilometers to attend school at Langbinsi. Coronavirus. Anaming coronavirus. Nabole nyele.
Anyala duru.
Ka face mask ba.
Kala are dia da face mask.
These children came from their village of Nayoko, almost 5 kilometers to attend Niga Primary School. Ka face mask ba. I don't have money.
Face mask.
Can no mask. I left my face mask at home. In hurry, so I left the face mask at home. At the the children were not only without face masks, but had no desks and were forced to lie on their beds. Some of the children and teachers spoke to Joy News.
The kind of mask.
Okay. I don't have one. At the Baptist Primary School, similar situation was observed.
We don't have chairs. Even the upper primary, we don't have chairs.
However, the situation was totally different at Nabongo Junior High School, where majority of the school children were on their face masks. There was also a provision for hand washing and sanitizing at the school.
It's all as a result of advocacy. Morning assemblies, we have been talking to the students about the dangers of the COVID-19.
Most of the school teachers told Joy News their headmasters had traveled to the Education Directorate at Kambaga to convey their share of the PPEs, which they said were sent in by government. But all attempts to speak to the municipal education authorities were unsuccessful. Ilyasu Tanko reporting for Joy News.
Okay, so let's go to the markets now, precisely to Malata, to assess the feasibility of ensuring strict adherence to the COVID-19 protocols with the possible running of a shift system for traders. Manuel Kranting has more.
Last week,
And I municipal assembly for no de van. Ebe announcement say yari enenkoye. Sese afekra na fufro nso asaba. Enti womo sreyen dwedifo no bia bedwoma onhye ni nose mask. Onbo modin so obehye. Efrise se ye eniamo ho na aban kasa waka no ye mu a omo betwe aso. Nti Frimra omovan ne be announcement ne de obia hye ni nose mask. Wo de wani twedwe ni mu aye hyehye. E de boy ho ban. Efri yare animu. If you say so
you're hearing her tell me that it's been about a week or so that the municipal assembly within the area came to the market in a van with an announcement van, urging and cautioning all of them to wear their mask when they come to the market. That essentially is a reason all of them, as you're seeing your shorts, are wearing their masks. But I said, Max, no, one part of it say bako. Yes, say Senate ye that down March and April last year. No, say ebia jedini wenka wone mami ka ne oba na ochina ono so aba na womba and also ye say any.
Okay, say dear ye no ye ni option. And yare na sam no ye nhede nim yare no ne ban. Na me say ye mpanyifo na enim sane a wo mo hu no ye yetete. Say, and I share news so once and AC kunkum crofo. And tis all no dream young kwan first na. No more say beer and nema ba or chinamame man ebe boamen kwa. Media me jedi say me ni once and bonny be. If we say me wuya, minimunia menya. Sabia me preme una de bia me wo dreimu, nebia emfa wade mame. Na bia de osaya na yare bi beti abechime na ma mintimi medwom ana bia ebechime na bia mewu na mensa mebiom na saban mu mpanyifo tena asese bia maba na ochina ma memma na no na ebebua ma ho odin dia so
you're just hearing her tell me, that for them it's their health and safety that they are most concerned about. And so if the experts assess the situation and the best option is for them to run a shift system, they do not have any qualms at all. I don't know if this woman would agree with her. Mommy, Machu, say Boko. And no dear a shame crime pan. Also, a Kayasenka Ebia wo Webane Chinaomba. Then a bear joining mono in Crofona woman a sobetia. Some can also you, Anna.
A palma, me say, Anka. Obi beba na echna obi so beba dia me de manage ho pass and camera ne sa
enti ka o shanka yenya ne sa mo
anka yenya ne sa ma ye.
Enti se ne be ya mbetumi oba na nanka ebia mehwe 1-2 tables no bia ni ho nanka third one mum na bi wo se ne be ya betumi nya space ah
me panisa sa ka ebe yesa eye nyina ye ho be ha ye na yare no so ebetimi afiye so.
Great. So it seems to be, a consensus, if you like. The voice is almost unison here at the Malata market. I'll move over to this side. Perhaps they may have different opinions about the conversation that we're having, and speak to this lady here.
Social distancing, Omishin, what can Kabam or Quabang, what be anele, a bang na kind, a dromona, or your joke by a beer, bunch of cocoa, what I can see, or me a delay a beer, fine, the war, not coming Mr. Moller.
Well, Nake, you Jalai or Ashilin again, Ashilin, I can know, what I know in what I know to bang. Yeah, bam, you know. Okay. Great. So you heard her tell me that for the spacing in the market, particularly at the Malata market, as you can see, almost, well, it's not up to 1 meter, at least per my own estimation as I'm looking at them. But you have some, considerable spacing between the various sheds, which essentially gives an indication that, they are observing to some extent the social distancing protocol as has been recommended by the health experts. She says that, well, let's leave it just as it is with the level of spacing they have in the markets. That's okay, they can deal with that. But what does this woman also think, madam?
Say na de tono aba form kakra. Nti ne say be haye awofo ne kakra say be school so ye ma eku school. Nti nka be ya ankomo mehwe ma say be tete ye ntem na kwan adeda ye mu. Chen say be tena fie say na be o china ye ma na ne de be haye kakra.
Say ha no spaces wa. Omunta ama. Say kwanda na me kwan mete ya. Tu say kwandam. Nti betu ahwa ma yan so na ma samba kan fa.
It's a in Janice.
Say mon person be bo ho. When you do all spaces here. What's the kind them? Ya ha jam na nya e mo so bebre. Ti say mo kola na ade no. E dey ha the kind da yim.
One kasa wo sha, I mean yare no embo hu say e bia de bia no power story ba edwemu no sa no embo hu.
Say dey mo so yan no smart no. Nti ne ya hye no. Nti santaza so de bia me do horo mensa.
And that's what's going on at Malata markets. But I have a question for you. Thermometer gun, accurate enough? Well, the infrared thermometer or thermometer gun has become one of the most essential devices for detecting the early signs of COVID-19. It helps operators to stand at a distance and get the temperature readings without the risk of contracting the disease. But concerns have been raised about the accuracy of the device as it sometimes records abnormally low or high temperatures. Is it the fault of the device or the operators are to blame? Well, on Tech Thursday, Love FM's Kwesi Deborah finds out more with physicist Professor Ruben Tamaklo of the Kwame Nkrumah University of Science and Technology.
There were two thermometer guns at the checkpoint. First one, it was 38 degrees. And then the man asked me to wait for a while. And then he checked me back again, and they said 38. So he asked me to go to another checkpoint, and it was 36. Then I realized that the machine, I don't trust the machine, either have some battery problem or the machine doesn't work accurate as they have told us to.
The Magnum Research BFR, shooting at 1,814 feet per second, is one of the most powerful handguns in the world. But against the COVID-19, it's just a piece of metal. The El Chamano is this. Equipped with only infrared. At the mall, at the schools, and at the hospitals, you're definitely going to encounter somebody who's going to point the thermometer gun at you. But does it really work? And do we know everything about it? Let's find out more. Professor Ruben Tamaklo is with the Department of Physics, KNUST. He says the device is sometimes not well calibrated to serve its purpose.
Some are defective. Some are defective. Yeah, I ordered a tray, different ones. Just want to see which one will give me the. And that particular one, the very day I tested it was working. Well, I mean, they all give me the same temperature range. The following day, when I brought that one, instead of 37, it was reading 45. Then I did another one, did some other tests, what I don't know. The problem was from the thermometer. I changed the battery, it couldn't work properly, so I have to open and do some few regulations. That made it work. So even after that adjustment, I still have to test all, and now it is working perfectly. The manual, number one, they give you the range, I mean the distance to which you can measure effective temperature. And also the response time is 2 seconds. So if I point it at you, 2 seconds, and we can also read the 2 seconds, 1, 2, they will take it off, right? And then when the battery go low, that will also affect the reading. Yes. You can see you have been measuring nicely, and then after 1 month, it started reading differently. You may think the people who are coming are all sick. Oh, yeah. So that 36.3, because it's in the range, right? But, okay, the same thing, when I bring it, that's 36.3. So let me give it more than the 3. Yes, you see, 33.2, because it is out of range. You see, because it's out of range. You see, if it is too close, we will cause something interference. So you can have multiple interference, and you may not have the. So it is 1 centimeter to 3. So anything between that 1 centimeter and 3 centimeters work perfectly. So every time you have to educate the person we are giving this one to. When you go to the bank, you go to the shopping mall, they give the security men are the one who are using it, and they are not educated about this, about the thermometer gun. They just feel, oh, you can just point it at somebody and then measure. No, the range must be considered before you can get the right thing.
She is the queen of the sciences. And after writing your BEc and WASE, you thought you were done with mathematics. But you see, without it, you're not even worthy to operate the thermometer gun. Always remember to mask up. And yes, always get checked. My name is Kwesi Debra for Joy News.
Lawyers for 2020 NDC presidential candidates John Dramani Mahama have expressed concerns over the strict timelines imposed by the Supreme Court, which will see the hearing of the substantive matter take off on January 26th. Now, they maintain there are outstanding issues the court ought to address before the trial takes off. Court correspondent Joseph Akable was in court on Wednesday as these concerns were raised. Here is his report.
The Apex Court has settled on 5 questions it believes goes to the heart of this election petition. They have to do with 1, whether or not the petition discloses any reasonable course of action. 2, whether or not, per the data available, any candidate obtained more than 50% of the vote cast. 3, whether or not the second respondent obtained more than 50% of the votes cast by the exclusion or inclusion of Techiman South constituency results, whether or not the declaration was in violation of the Constitution, and finally, whether or not the alleged vote pardon affected the results as declared. The court then proceeded to issue some orders about how the trial should proceed.
The registrar shall ensure service of the submissions of the preliminary objections by the close of the day on Friday, the 22nd of January 2021. C. The petitioner shall file any response to the submission of the preliminary objection by noon on Monday, the 25th of January 2021. D. The registrar shall ensure service of the petitioner's response by the close of the day on Monday, the 25th of January 2021. E. Ruling on the preliminary objection will be incorporated in the judgment of the court. Timelines. The court shall sit on Tuesday, the 26th of January 2021 for hearing of this petition.
Lawyers for the petitioner, however, had some concerns about the timelines that were announced by the court. Lead counsel Chachuchi Kata addressed the court on that issue.
I do know about the schedule provided, but I also know that your lordships are here to administer justice, and that justice must not be sacrificed for expedition.
President Akufo-Addo's legal team, however, says it all forms part of approaches or moves to delay the court. Frank Davis is a member of the legal team.
Of course, expedition is justice. You don't come to court with a set of rules and you want to circumvent and obviate the rules by your own careless abandon. How do you come to court with a petition and you don't know that you have to file a witness statement? You don't know that you have to settle a memorandum of issues?
Mr. Mohammed's lawyers, however, disagree. Marietta Briapia-Opon addressed the media.
Please note that under the rules, the schedule, there's 5 days for pre-trial. Today is the second day.
So what's the rush for?
So what is the rush? Today is the second day for pre-trial.
The case is back in court on Tuesday, 26th of January 2021. Reporting for JoyNews from the Supreme Court, my name is Joseph Akable.
How legitimate is the concern by the lawyers for the petitions? We'll be getting some answers to that pretty shortly when we are joined by lawyer Martin Pebu. It's a little bit later, but let's move on to other stories. Now, the Economic and Organized Crimes Office has arrested 11 members of a baby harvesting and trafficking syndicate in the Greater Accra region who stole babies from their mothers at hospitals and sold them. In a joint operation with the Medical and Dental Council, IOCO picked up doctors, nurses, social workers, and traditional birth attendants who operated in various hospitals in the Greater Accra region, where they traded babies using a highly sophisticated modus operandi. JoyNews' Manuel Kranting was embedded in one of such operations to arrest a member of the syndicate at the Tema General Hospital last month.
On Thursday, December 31st,
It's 7 a.m. on the morning of 31st December 2020, the last day of the year. As many people prepared to bid farewell to one year and welcome another, somewhere at the Tema General Hospital within the Tema metropolis, a baby was about seeing the last of his biological mother. In motion on that fateful day was the sale of a 1-month-old baby boy by an organized baby selling cartel. This syndicate is made up of several people, including doctors, nurses, and social welfare officers, among others, all of whom are entrusted with the responsibility of providing assistance to mothers and their newly born babies. Their operations had been on the radar of the Medical and Dental Council for a while, and today, the council has teamed up with the officers from Economic and Organized Crime Office, IOCO, to foil one of such illegal transactions. The Connect, Leonard Able, an officer at the head office of the Department of Social Welfare, had already taken 10,000 Ghana cedis as a deposit for the baby, who he was selling at 28,000 Ghana cedis from a woman in need of a baby, not knowing she was an undercover officer with IOCO. The JoyNews team was embedded in the operation and filmed from a distance as Mr. Able went to collect the baby and accompanied the female undercover officer to a vehicle. This was the point of arrest. Leonard Able was arrested and the baby retrieved. On-site interrogations revealed Mr. Able was not alone. His accomplices, a nurse only identified as Nancy, and the head of the social welfare at the hospital, also referred to as Auntie Doris, had heard of the arrest and immediately bolted.
I've called her several times, but she's not picking up, so I keep on calling. I don't know what to do.
What is her name? What is her surname? There's a woman who left in the car, in the taxi.
She left in the taxi?
Yes. They gave money that I should go and pay them.
Okay.
So
what's
later,
the evidence that you paid?
Oh, so the woman said that.
Which woman?
Nancy said that she had done adoption before. And she said that she had somebody, she has a baby, an abandoned baby here. Doris said she had an abandoned baby here. You get me? So I should assist her in the baby is there. Somebody, if they have somebody.
Not even a call from the medical director of the facility could get them to return.
Can you come right away to my office? My General Hospital, Director's office. Yes. 1 hour's time.
The entire morning went by with the arrested suspect pleading for mercy as he sent the teen on a wild goose chase from one facility to the other in search of his other accomplices.
Yes, but the way my name, my this thing, I beg you. Help me, I beg you.
Yes. So
help me.
I'm asking.
Can you go help me?
They give you money. They give you money. Did you take any money?
They give money that I should go and pay them.
Okay.
The day ended with one arrest as the task force worked other leads to effect more arrests. For Joy News, Manuel.
Well, let's hear from Executive Director of IOCO, Frank Edupoku, as he addressed a news conference on the activities of the syndicate, which sold the babies for between 28 and 30,000 cedis.
On Thursday, December 31st, 2020, Dr. Hope Mensah-Kwasi, who works with the 37 Military Hospital, was arrested at his private health facility named Susan Clinic, located at Atabi-Okoshi, a suburb of Accra. He was alleged to have sold the first baby boy to the team for an amount of 30,000 Ghana cedis in October 2020. And Dr. Mensah-Kwasi was arrested with 3 nurses who worked at his facility. And the nurses are Sylvia Awuse, John Adole Efi, and Angelina Ametepe. They have been identified as his accomplices, together with one Dede Gifty Anipi, a traditional birth attendant at Bethlehem Maternity Home at Santo, a suburb of Pong Katamanso. Dr. Noah Kofi Latte, who works at the Greater Accra Regional Hospital, popularly known as Regional Hospital, and he operates a private hospital called Dangbe Community Hospital, was also arrested in a separate operation on Tuesday, January 5, 2021. The mother of the second baby was arrested on 19th January 2020, pending further investigations. Both babies sold by the suspects and bought by the investigators are currently in safe custody and being properly taken care of, pending further investigations. The council, that's the Medical and Dental Council, and IOCO, assured the public that the 2 agencies will continue to collaborate to protect public health and safety by preventing and detecting organized crime.
Meanwhile, the acting registrar of the Medical and Dental Council, Dr. Divine Banibala, says the licenses of the doctors involved will be suspended as investigations continue.
Our actions are rooted in the mandate we have given. And like as I indicated, once you have been arrested and you are being investigated for serious offenses of this nature, in the public interest, in the professional interest, and in the interest of society in ensuring that miscreants or criminals do not masquerade as members of the noble, honorable, or learned profession of medicine, we will withhold certain parts of your practices until a court of competent decision determines your fate. If it is negative, it may satisfy, even though you may not have met the criminal requirements, you may actually be subject to professional inquiry through the due process. Or if you have been convicted and sentenced, then you are also liable to disciplinary proceedings. So either way, the council's mandate is fully engaged, and as you can see, we have shown 100% commitment to ensuring that we work together to rid our profession, our healthcare system, of all miscreants, so that we can continue to comfortably engage the services of these professionals, give our lives to them, is the confidence and the trust that they are persons of high integrity.
That was Dr. Abanubala speaking there. We're going to take a quick break. Don't go anywhere. When we come back, we bring you the business news.
Good morning, welcome to Business. My name is Darrell Kwao. Director of the Institute of Statistical, Social and Economic Research, Professor Peter Korte, says the tourism and agro-processing sectors have great potential to reduce youth unemployment in the country. Here's more from a workshop he addressed.
The dissemination workshop on industries without smokestacks in Africa by the Institute of Statistical, Social and Economic Research in partnership with the Brookings Institute of United States seeks to provide insight into options towards addressing Africa's youth unemployment challenges through the creation of large-scale unemployment opportunities in industries without smokestacks to drive Africa's industrialization agenda. Director of ESE, Professor Peter Korte, says Ghana must redirect attention towards identifying and supporting sectors with more significant employment potential.
So the idea is basically some of this labor-intensive, identify some of the labor-intensive industries, find out what they are doing, what their potentials are, and how we can enhance their potential. So basically, the study focused on agro-processing and tourism, and that is where they collected data, analyzed, and very interesting findings were made. One is that these industries have potential for generating employment, for reducing youth unemployment. And then there's also the issue about the skills gap. There's a high skills gap which has to be addressed, and one will be for the industries to engage with training institutions, be it industrial attachment, etc., so that by the time they graduate, they will be ready for the market. They should also get involved in the curriculum development.
Also, Professor Korte urged the government to reduce the cost of credit and help solve the lack of access to credit facilities and other constraints identified in the tourism and agro-processing firms to help deal with rising youth unemployment.
Taxes and then also credit. Taxation issues have always been a problem. The AGI reports always highlights tax issues that firms have challenged with taxes. Sometimes not even the amount, but the process of paying your taxes is a problem. Where you have to travel, you have to spend sometimes a whole day to go and queue and pay for your taxes. Whereas in other jurisdictions, you can just go online, assess your tax, and even pay using digital means. Yeah, same with credit. Access to credit for some of these firms is a problem because the cost of credit is high. It's quite recently that it's come below 20% thereabout, but it's around 32%. And what kind of business can you do that you'll be able to recover your costs and then also pay 32% on it as well, and so on and so forth. But then luckily these days, we've had other schemes that are supporting agro-processing. So,
according to the research, a new growth trajectory has emerged in the region with services as the driver of growth, contrary to the expectations of manufacturing export-led transformation, with the capacity to absorb low to medium-skilled workers as previously observed in East Asia and other newly industrialized countries. Nicholas Brown's report for Joy Business.
Now, the Agribusiness Innovations and Technology Institute has, in partnership with other youth organizations, exposed young entrepreneurs to various business and funding opportunities at the National Business Plan Pitch event. There's more in this report.
These young entrepreneurs had the chance to pitch their business ideas to a panel of judges. If successful, these business minds will be supported with needed funding to take their businesses to the next level. Maureen Odoe is the CEO of the Agribusiness Innovations and Technology Institute of the Aurora Africa Business Network.
We will ask them to show us their hats. They have a red hat and a white hat. If you get a red hat, it means you've done extremely well. If you get a white hat, it means you've done very well, but you need some more advice. And that's how we'll capture it.
Sheriff Gali is the CEO of Ghana Chamber of Young Entrepreneurs. He tells Joy Business there is a need for young entrepreneurs like these ones to be aware of various government interventions and tax waivers.
One of the key things is that they not being aware of some of the already opportunities available for them to be able to get to. That I, as a CEO, have taken some clues from there. That means that we need to do a lot of capacity building.
Meanwhile, some participants have been speaking to Joy Business.
It has been big. We learned a whole lot about business profiling, we learned about marketing strategies. We learned the big one was the business plan that they took us through. I indeed had a business plan, but what they took us through is a whole new level and a different level.
Our business pitch is to raise funds to really grow the business so that we can export to other countries and really develop our product by having it in different forms.
The objective of this program is to coach, mentor, and certify 28 young people who have received training towards building resilience, recovery, and growth under the C19 Business Solutions for Young Entrepreneurs program.
That's all in business for now. Sports is up next.